Without being very woo-woo, I feel very called to make this video right now. Kind of the last month or so haven't been feeling myself. I think the last 2 days it's kind of been brought to my attention that it might be burnout, and I think I've tried to find other explanations for it. A friend was telling me about the eclipse and the full moon, and we are in Bali, but that's not usually my go-to. I've had some work things happen, I've had some friend things happen, and I think I've maybe the last 2 months I feel myself really retreating, and I'm usually a very extroverted person, and I think being more in myself has really done me a disservice. I've been feeling really depressed. I feel like I'm stuck in this like fight or flight. I feel like the last 2 months really have been me just pushing, and it feels like I'm pushing. I know that's not good for me, and I've thought about how I've been feeling different, but I haven't really thought about why I've been feeling different or what's changed. So this time last year I was a social butterfly, set work hours, and then I would make sure that I would look after myself in terms of gym and eating around that, and also make sure that I see friends. At least, it was crazy, it was like 3 times a week I was hanging out with my friends. And I was actually just looking at my Google Calendar, comparing this time last year to my current calendar, and I'll put it on the screen here. So all the orange bits were my social plans, and then you can kind of see this month's social plans are few and far between. So I've been thinking about why I've been feeling like that, and I think it's just a lack of connection with friends. My family is my family's in South Africa, and I'm here in Bali, and I love it, but I just don't think I'm using its full potential and my full potential. So I've made a plan. I don't know if you can see, but I've made a plan on 4 steps of how I'm going to get out of my Bali burnout. So step 1 is self-care, and I'm very grateful that for me is something that I'm pretty good at baseline. Although my body image is kind of fluctuating, my exercise kind of has stayed pretty consistent. Eating, I'm making sure that I eat well. I'm probably not eating optimally. I'm definitely not eating enough veggies. For the most part, hitting my macros every day, so that's fine. Not fine, but we can work on that. Not drinking enough water, obviously very important. Sleep is something that I've been struggling with. I think when you're in a bit of a burnout place, dopamine seeking things, but if it's scrolling on Instagram for hours when I should be sleeping and resetting my body, like, that's obviously not very good for me. And then at the same time, I've been waking up at 5:30 in the morning, so there'll be nights where I go to bed at 11 and wake up at 5:30. That might seem like a decent amount of sleep, 6.5 hours, but that's not enough sleep for me, and I know that. My morning routine's pretty sorted, but I think instead of 5:30, I should wake up at 6. And it would be ideal if I could kind of just wake up naturally, but a lot of my motivation happens in the morning, so I would rather be up early than go to bed later. So the plan, we're gonna write it down as we go, everyone, is continue with exercise, eat well, drink water, 8 hours of sleep, non-negotiable every night. So we're gonna go to bed at 10 p.m. every night, wake up at 6. The next part that is going to be very important is to reach out. To my friends, because I have been isolating quite hectically. One of the symptoms I'm also experiencing is brain fog, if you haven't. So I haven't been hanging out with my friends as much in an effort to save money, but it has kind of cost me significantly more in terms of like my mental health. So that's the next thing, we can start baby steps. Once a week, just make a plan to see a friend for an hour. I think that'll be really good for me. The third thing that I've put on my little list is to create more than I consume. This goes back to social media. I'm trying to get into content creation, but I just find myself scrolling endlessly for like inspiration instead of actually creating, and then being cross with myself for not making anything. I feel like I'm consuming podcasts, I'm consuming I'm reading self-development books, I'm watching YouTube videos, and all of it is about like self-development, self-improvement, creating content, becoming a content creator, and all of the places that I want to go. But I feel like I'm obviously consuming content like this is really, really beneficial if this is my long-term goal. But I feel like I'm just bombarding myself with information rather than using the information that I have to then set a plan and follow the plan. And I just also know that I will never get to a place where I'm like, okay, I know everything. That almost never happens. And the fourth thing is to implement boundaries. I started working as a social media manager, and that is great, love it. But I think because it's social media, it's on my phone and my phone is with me all the time, I find it really hard to switch off. Even if I have like allocated hours in a month, I find myself doing odd jobs for people in between the allocated hours in my week, which it makes it really hard to track hours, but then it also makes it really hard to switch off. My body's just so stressed. I'm really going to focus on self-care, socializing, creating more than I consume, and setting boundaries. So the first thing that I'm going to do today is have a swim. I've been to the gym, I've eaten lunch, I've looked after myself nicely. I had a nap, that was really nice. And then I will chat to you later.